Hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network episode 28. Today we're talking NFTs, as if we haven't talked about that enough, but in the music space. The Synthstrom Deluge, they got a nice cool update for that, and then an interesting new iPad DAW, and then we'll go into some marketing news, but there's not a ton, so that'll just be the last little thing. My name is Sunwarper, and today I am joined by Eon Lake. How are you, my friend? Welcome back.
Hey.
We missed you last week. Even Hydrofighter says in the chat, welcome back, Eon.
Thank you, mate. It's good to be back. Yes, what have I been up to? I finished all my remix duties now.
Nice.
The last one should be out later this month. A little one I did for my friend Davey Hub. I'm not sure the date. I think the 23rd it's coming out, but I will bang something on social media when it does. So that's all done, and it's all just album 24/7.
Cool.
I'm splitting it into sessions at various times of the day now, so I'm doing a little bit in the morning, really early,
Nice.
a little bit at lunchtime, and a little bit in the evening, just to try and do different approaches and catch myself at different times. I'm finding, I don't know about you, but I tend to be better earlier in the day these days.
Same. I've been for the last couple of years, yeah.
So early mornings is a lot more.
It's the coffee. It's the coffee, yeah.
I do make a good coffee.
There you go.
I've studied it, yeah. So yeah, that's the main thing.
Nice.
There's been a bit of a theme of resisting overload because I'm in one of those mental life times a year, and yeah, things have been getting a little bit more ambient and washy because of that. It's almost like a reaction.
Maybe it's a meditation, you know? You gotta calm down, forget about everything out there, and just get to work on the music. I'm with you
Get your
there.
Valhalla shield up.
It blocks everything, man.
List out for a bit.
That long reverb tail just stops every bad thought, because all you're thinking about is that long wash.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool, man.
But that's it, yeah. Just trying to get stuff done at the moment, get that wrapped up. Still a lot to do, but I've got 10 songs. So
Well, that's good. Now, are they just written or mixed as well?
They're in various stages of being written.
All right.
The mixing won't take long. They're going to be quite easy to mix, I think.
Well, that's cool.
So, my tracks tend to be 90% of the way there by the time they're written, and the mix is really just
mix along the way kind of thing.
Yeah, and applying the processing that I hadn't so far.
I got you. Well, cool. That's exciting. I can't wait to hear more about that. And then also with us today is our Audionautic co-pilot, Curtis. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's another busy week, but I mean, that's always the fun of it.
But at least we all got the memo to wear green.
I know. That's our namesake for this one.
Yeah. Shades of green, hence the name, yeah.
Yeah, we're all on the same page. It's getting towards last little bit of green before the leaves turn brown.
There you go. Oh, I like that. That's a nice little input there. Way to go. Yeah. So what have you been up to?
I've mainly been in After Effects and Photoshop this week. There's been, I've been doing the promotional stuff for Fragments because that comes out next week.
Nice.
So I've been doing that, cutting up little canvases and stuff like that. And our new, what are we calling it? Our new concept, our new
show.
That's the one. That's the word I'm looking for.
Kind of not often used, but show. Yeah.
Our Extended Orbit show starts next month, so I've been making the concept art for that.
Yeah.
And so it's mainly been Photoshop and After Effects.
That's cool. Any time for music?
Bits and bobs. I've been getting down in the nitty gritty of the mixing for Marooned.
Yeah.
So that's coming down. That's about halfway through now. It's same as Eon Lake. I've been getting up really early in the morning and going into work. But the times when I can get up early and go into work, and I've been doing it on the side, like just doing a little bit of work and then doing a little bit of mixing and a little bit of work and a little bit of mixing. And so it's cool. It's cool.
There you
go. Fun. Before we move on, do you want to see the concept art I've made with the people in the chat? Like to see the concept art we've made? Yeah. Let's have a look because we got two here.
And tell us which elements you used which application for.
I mean, everything's done through Photoshop. So as ever on this, and you know me, concepts and kind of composites. So this is the first one. Sneak peek as to who's
Spoiler
going to be
alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, spoiler alert. He's going to be on the first one. So this is this one here. This one nice and red. Obviously went for a bit of a red theme. And then this one here. It's just a little bit more bluey purpley, which is a bit more like the concept of the radio itself. We're undecided, so if anyone has an opinion, let us know.
Yeah, we're gonna post a poll over on Twitter. But no, Ian, like, you don't get a voice here. You're one of us. I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, you're welcome to put it in the chat, everybody, on the chat. And then also, oh, there's Bendu. Yeah, speak of the devil. Yeah, welcome, Bendu. What's going on? It's a little cooler, I bet, by you today. I mean, I still got the air on, but it's not too bad here in Orange, California. But yeah, we'll post a poll on Twitter. Let us know which of those two you like better. And I also just want to say quickly, welcome to everybody in the chat. It's always great to have you here. And if you don't mind, leave a like over on the YouTube, and then maybe retweet if you're over on Twitter. The tweet we put out, it helps just spread the word and gets us out there.
Yeah, completely. Thank you very much. We'd love to have you here with us this week. What have you been doing, Sunwarper?
What have I been doing? I got the pre-order up for Radiant Visage. Had a bit of a nightmare with the vinyl due to rising costs and fees, but I got it sorted. It's just like directly through Kunaki, our distributor, rather than on Bandcamp. Got the CDs up, got some great response, which has been awesome. Thanks everybody that's been supporting it. And then I've just been kind of mapping out like where I'm gonna go next. I have that idea that I was talking about for next year, but I kind of want to do a trial run with a sort of like live generative ambient set in Christmas. And then I'm also working on a live set for Radiant Visage with the SP and Circuit, which is a video I put up yesterday. So I've just been doing like live set preparation and stuff. I don't know. Oh, he's got the hand up. There we go.
Hand up. Go ahead for it.
What's up, Ian?
Yeah, I'm interested. Are you doing any probability-based stuff or chance-based
so
stuff?
For the generative thing, I'm still in the concept because I'm like, I don't want to do this live set for Radiant Visage because I like, live sets always just make me so nervous and stuff, right? But I have to do it, so I'm focusing on finishing that first, and I'm making like different stems that I'm going to trigger and things like that. But what I'm thinking for the generative set, it's going to be my biggest setup yet. I'm going to have like the Prophet alone going into the Focusrite, the guitar going into the Focusrite, and then I'm going to have the Circuit with MIDI going into the MIDI log and the Erebus, and all of that going into the SP, and then the SP going into the Focusrite. And I'll do probabilities on here, because you can do all those probability settings on the Circuit. Right. So basically I'll have like, I think, I made a video a long time ago, but basically when you turn this on and you have like a synth setup, let me just turn it on real quick and I'll show you. So you can put notes on every single one of these, right? So I'll set every single one and I'll put it on the slowest pattern so it goes really slow, and then you can set it to just play at random, and so it'll just bounce. I don't know if you can see the white.
So it plays the sequence in random.
In random, so it's in essence you can make really long. Say again, Ian Lake. Sorry.
You set individual probabilities for each step as well.
Exactly. Yeah, you can set individual probabilities so that when it goes to that random step, it may not play, or it might. And so you could get really long sustained notes, or you could get really short, like arpeggios or something. And then it's just building multiple ones of those up. And then I'm kind of thinking Hydro Fighter, you might get a kick out of this, inspired by you, for the set to go through like 4 or 5 of the Circle of Fifths. You know, like start at C and then move over or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm teasing that idea because I'm trying to think of ways to transition when using all this gear. And I was like, that might be cool to have the drone on the Prophet, or, you know, like guitar, hold a note and like switch over or something like that. But yeah, so we'll see. But that's what I'm thinking.
Cool. All right. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, you got a whole concept plan for the next year, haven't you? So
yeah,
I mean,
and this is before that concept.
Exactly.
This is like,
this is like a pre-concept concept.
You know, I always have something, and then I have to stress myself out by doing even more on top of it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, why take it chill in the last?
But I like this idea of like generative stuff, and I want to do something where I can try to flow between multiple songs, so to speak, but like it builds on its own, and then I can add a human element, like if I want some guitar on top, or, you know, just like something really cool like that.
I've been doing a lot with random clock generation into popular sequences, so they go at different rates and stutter and carry on and speed up, slow down.
That's cool.
Good. Mess like that.
I mean, that's what you need. I mean, we looked at, I've done a little bit of generative, and it's well, it's always exciting to watch this thing just happen in front of you.
And I like how you don't know if it could be messed up, especially if you're doing multiple things playing generative. Like, I'll probably set certain ones to very few notes. Like, it's only bouncing between a few, because you don't want, like, the second coming in, like, and making this weird dissonant sound, or maybe you do, but I like that you never know what's going to happen, and something really cool might happen, and then it'll never happen again. Like a really cool melodic fragment, and it's gone.
I'll see that. That's fair. Cool. Well, I've been interested to see where that goes.
That'd really if it goes, but it should.
Okay, so coming back to the vinyl, situation. You obviously you put out your Radiant Visage vinyl up on the Audionautic Records Bandcamp in the week.
Indeed.
And
CD and vinyl.
CD and vinyl.
Label,
yeah, CD and vinyl. And I mean, we had it's been an interesting one, and vinyl continues to go through the roof. We've actually got quite a vinyl / listening medium week, because we're talking about it in the round robin through Hydra Fighter as well. Mm-hmm. And it segues nicely into our first piece of news for the week.
There we go. Look at that segue.
Look at that segue.
Chat, rate the segue.
I like this. This is coming out of DMN again, as we always use. The fact that the vinyl sales themselves are continue to go through the roof. And the idea that we've had last year, so in 2022 so far, we've had 12% increase in the same period of 2021. So it's up another 12%. Last year, 80.9 million was spent on vinyls, which is more than on PlayStation 4 and 5 games combined, which is an insane.
But is that just physical PlayStation 4 and 5?
Well, yeah, it's been
okay. I'm just because it's interesting, but a lot of the game industry is transitioning more to digital purchases. It's very interesting to see that swap, and not only downloads, but also not streaming, but like Game Pass on Xbox. You pay $15 and you can download however many games they have on that thing, like a subscription service. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. This is very fair, and yes, I mean everything's going more digital in that front.
But not vinyl. Everyone's going
for vinyl. It's up 20. It's up ahead 20% of the next of CD. So obviously, Radiant Visage is in vinyl and in CD form.
Yeah.
In theory, people should be buying the vinyl.
Let's get that 80 million.
Let's get that 80 million, shall we? Yeah. I mean, this just shows. I know that companies have backlogs when it comes to vinyl pressing and kind of releasing things on vinyl.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. This continued thing. It just
That's what I was going to say. I mean, those figures are with the limited supply that we have now, with like plants being packed up for months. I mean, imagine if we could actually meet demand.
Yeah, I'm so curious when, and maybe they have. I think it might have even been Bendu. Someone a while ago had mentioned when I brought this up last time in the chat. But when are they going to start building new plants to meet this demand? Because they were saying, the demand wasn't high enough to justify making new plants. But I mean, that article showing, what was it, 83 million pounds or something? Which is like $93 million. I mean, how much is enough to justify opening plants? That's my question. And I don't know, I'm just asking.
But I'd be curious. I mean, that's a lot. And I mean, I feel someone's missing a trick by not doing it. I mean, and if anywhere, I mean, as well as that, I mean, people are obviously buying it and people are obviously spending the money to get it done. I just don't see why there's not more. I mean, this has been these vinyl woes, so to speak, have been going on for years, like pre-pandemic, and nothing's really being done about it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the scarcity. Maybe it's that exclusivity. That's the edge on it.
Yeah, I've heard nightmares of a whole pressing is just ruined, and it takes another 3 to 6 months to make the next one. And it gets delayed and delayed and all that. So yeah.
We'd like to know. I mean, both of you. I haven't released anything on vinyl. I mean, I know, like you have, and I know obviously you've done a few vinyls.
Actually.
Oh, have you not? I thought you had.
You had a remix, I think, on a vinyl, right, or something? Yeah, like didn't you have something recently? Like a remix was on a vinyl.
I will have. There's a Castles in Space subscription library.
That might be the one.
From me on vinyl. That'll be a double vinyl release on their library.
Nice.
That's the first time I've hit vinyl, actually.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm super excited about.
Yeah, that'll be sick.
That'd be sick.
Goal of mine.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Okay, so well, it's something that a lot of people aspire to release on vinyl. Prices are going up, time is going up, and everything like that. Does it shirk you guys away from doing it, or is vinyl still where you want to be?
Yeah. Don't ask me why. It is. I love the form. I like the big artwork, the nostalgia. It's going to be digital as well anyway. I mean, that goes without saying. I'm not going to go, right, I'm releasing only on vinyl now. That would be stupid.
That would be silly,
and it doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything on CD or anything as well. But I really don't. I mean, I'm a member of a couple of subscription libraries because I like that sort of thing. And, you do get the opportunity to put together a really beautiful product that really enhances everything that's gone into the music,
Yeah. Over in the chat, Bendu asks, do lathe cuts count? My next album is delayed due to the backlog. Are you talking... Well, first of all, what do you mean by do lathe cuts count? What context? And then is your next album a lathe cut that's being delayed? Because maybe lathe cuts are even starting to see this delay because of people moving from normal vinyl to the lathe processing just to meet the demand. I'd be curious to know.
Okay.
I think this is a common issue for small labels where large, issues of, people were targeting Adele for some hate for some point because she released an album. It was on vinyl and it was choking up all the press implants. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they got sold. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Small orders getting delayed behind bigger orders has been a big problem for some time now, and I think what Ben's saying, so to hear it, mate, is an extension of that. It's still happening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. We're gonna be touching on this a little bit in our round robin, which is brought to you this week by Hydrofire. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But we'll move cracking on to our second piece of news for the week, and we're revisiting the idea of NFTs because I mean, as Sunwarper said at the beginning of the show, we don't talk about NFTs enough.
We never talk about those.
Or Valhalla.
Oh wait, really quick, just before we transition, a few more things in the chat. Shady says definitely need to plan out a vinyl release. Yeah. I'm glad that whole chat hasn't dissuaded you from that. And then Bendu says, to be clear, I've had releases on lathe cut vinyl. My next album is not lathe cut, but delayed. There we go. Okay, yeah. So interesting. Yeah, I mean, lathe cut, in my opinion, count as vinyl. I think they're vinyl. I don't see, not some superiority thing of like what. Yeah. They're vinyl. They put it on a vinyl player and it plays. I think that counts as vinyl.
Well, I for one hope to see it soon.
Yeah, I know that's a bummer about the delay. Is that just due to processing, or were there issues with with a batch of them or something? I'd be curious because that's what I keep hearing. Some of the delays are because the quality is of one of the processing. The test press isn't good enough or something, so they have to. It gets delayed and they make more. But yeah.
Okay. We'll have to see. In this, come back to this NFT news. The idea that Sony Music or Columbia has filed for a trademark for a whole, basically a non-fungible token media outlet application.
So boy.
Spotify specifically for NFTs and non-fungible token music. Now, this comes at a time when sales of NFTs are actually down by quite a considerable amount.
And crypto is down like crazy too, right?
Exactly, yeah. So there's been a 99% fall off when it comes to actual buying of NFTs and non-fungible tokens and the like. But nonetheless, companies are still setting up these databases of multimedia for people to buy as NFTs. So, I mean, as ever with things like crypto and this kind of thing, it's obviously fluctuating. Yet you've still got big guys putting their money behind it and investing in it, which, as we say, it's a very interesting place. Now, things like the metaverse and Solonium space and stuff like that, they are still growing, still getting better. So there's obviously something still to play for there. But what I personally found quite interesting was that you've got live performance videos coming in, as well as, so beyond studio recorded tracks. So tracks are just standard as that, but you've got extra things. You've got extra videos, extra live performances, extra recording, image files, that kind of thing, all going through as NFTs, which, again, a wonderful decentralization and a wonderful kind of continuation of buying more into the brand, which is a very interesting way to go.
So what are they trademarking there? Is it the actual digital storefront for all of these things?
Yeah, so they're making their own kind of
marketplace. Yeah,
their own marketplace essentially. Which, I mean, they're putting their stamp on it. I mean, I imagine anyone can set up a marketplace, but they've made theirs, and this is theirs, and that's going to be theirs. I mean, it's Columbia Records with Sony, so it's they're really putting their money behind it. Yeah,
I think that's what's so interesting. Like you were saying. Is that they're still, despite the fall off of NFT sales and things like that, they obviously think it's still in the long run going to be worth it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think everything with these ebbs and these flows. I think if you have a look, okay, so there's been a 99% drop off because we had that gold rush period over the last kind of 18 months, 2 years, where everyone's buying, but it hasn't actually gone anywhere in terms of the market just yet. So people are naturally going to come back, but. You know, everything in the metaverse is NFTs mostly. So, like, you know, they're getting involved in that as a continuation. I'd like to see. Yeah. I mean, I want to make I'm thinking about making my stems for marooned NFTs. I mean, I don't know if anyone would buy them, but I mean, be quite.
Well, it's always that idea of just offering it, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe someone will buy it. You never know. So you'd rather have it and one person buy it than not put it out and people that want it can't get it.
Yeah, or wait for it to become some big established thing and then have to plunge in then, not really know what to do. Started early.
Exactly. Yeah. I would like to know, guys in the chat, if this is something that you might consider. I know Hydra Fighters just had a release come back. Bendu's got one on the way. Shady Ridge has got a new label mate coming through next month or in a couple of weeks, I think. Would this be an avenue that you guys would kind of go through? I'd be really interested to know. Incidentally, Shady, Bendu, Hydra Fighter, they're all patrons of ours, and they are wonderful, wonderful human beings. We love chatting to them. If you yourself appreciate this show and you want it and you love more of it, consider going across to our Patreon page and making a pledge. They start at $2 and you get extras, exclusives. There's a Twitter feed or a Twitter chat with just all of us in where we can talk and chat like that, and also early access to the rest of the content like Binary Stars, our new one, Extended Orbit, and everything like that. So yeah, that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, there's also an exclusive podcast, Starstream, which I need to edit the newest one that we just did. But in that one, we've been going through and each of us have been sending each other stems and we're making this crazy, what we call Toy Box collab. It's been a lot of fun seeing how these songs grow, and then we're going to trade the stems that we all made from each person's stems and make more stems. As if there's not enough stems. You know, we heard you like stems, so we made more stems. But yeah, exactly. So if that sounds like something you want to see, the process of how we do a collab or something like that, and just want to help support the channel and what we do, head to patreon.com/audionautic.
So yeah, it's always cool.
I almost said audionautic.com/Patreon, and I didn't. Remember, patreon.com/audionautic.
Well, that's the one. We'll have a website soon enough. We'll go. Okay, who put the Synthstrom deluge?
Twas I, good sir.
Twas I, good sir. So Sunwarper, take us through this. Take us through this.
So, as you know, I love groove boxes and hardware and things like that, and stuff that I can't afford but would love to. But this has been out for a while. It's kind of like it's not related, but a bigger brother of the circuit in that it never had a screen. Everything was done using lights on the actual part that you perform on and things like that. But it did a lot more, I think, and it's more sample functionality and things like that. Well, they just did an upgrade where it has a OLED screen and you can see a lot more and things like that, because they were saying for long form sampling, they were like, we still don't think it needs a screen, but for long form sampling it definitely helps. So they've added that, and it looks like from this article that you can retrofit previous models. Like if you've bought one before, you can retrofit it. Also of note is they're saying due to the screen, they're going to incrementally increase pricing. You can see there on September 9th it goes up $12.49, then January 1st $13.29, and finally April 1st basically $1,400. I thought that was interesting, and maybe it's. I was just reading about PlayStation. You know, we spoke about PlayStation earlier. They're raising the rates of the PlayStation 5 2 years after release. Usually consoles get cheaper as it's out, but basically everywhere but the U.S. they're raising the price of it. And I thought that was interesting. But I I mean, I don't like seeing prices go up, but I like to see that Synthstrom is slowly raising it.
Yeah, they're giving you the choice to get in there now as well, which is surprising, but I suppose good on them.
Yeah. So I thought it's really cool. Wanted to hear your guys' take. I know we all love hardware. And also, chat, do you guys use groove boxes? Have you considered using something like that? Does anybody have the Synthstrom? Just want to hear from you. But yeah, Eon, like, what do you think about that, the Synthstrom?
I've always liked the look of it. It looks like something that you can get a fair bit done, you know, that's kind of production ready. I mean, I'm a fan of anything small and portable that you can sketch ideas on.
Yeah.
That is something that you're going to have to redo when you actually sit in the studio and work on the track. So, you know, the black box is a good example of that. The SP404 works well in that format as well because you can do all manner of instruments on it. The tracker, polyend tracker.
Oh yeah.
And the other polyend device. Yeah. The Deluge seems more like it's got that massive step sequencing capability of their what did they have? They had a big box that was just literally that, and they included it into the Deluge with a load of synth engines and everything, and it just looks like something quite a long way down the road with. You know, just one device. I really like that idea, you know.
It also brought up in my mind thinking about how it's related to the circuit and maybe even the OPZ, though I'm not super familiar with it, but not having a screen is very interesting. And Curtis, you've talked about trying to not use plugins that show graphics and things like that, right? Like EQ and stuff. I mean, I have been moving more towards DAWs kind of to not be by a screen and have to rely on your ears more, or my ears. And do you guys ever do that? Like not use screens whatsoever to make music? And chat, have you ever tried that? Just like rely on your ears to make a song, not, you know, seeing a bunch of stuff, being able to quantize, right? You know, things like that.
Yeah. I sometimes deliberately put my monitor to sleep.
There you go, yeah.
There you go, that's the one, yeah. Yeah.
Working with just the push and the instruments and everything. So
I do similar. That's the whole point of having this launch pad, is that you can control Ableton just from that. And obviously you have to watch and see that, but then everything's linked in. The guitar and the synths are all linked in, so that you can just sit and, in my case, live loop and just kind of alter as you go.
Do you feel like different ideas come out when you're doing that because you're not like seeing the MIDI and things like that? Yeah.
I like to do ambient with my eyes shut sometimes as well in a dark room. If I'm recording at night, I like
you don't fall asleep?
Lit and just shut my eyes if I'm playing a part and just vibe it.
Yeah.
I'm the same. Like if you look at Fragments, which is coming out next week, that's all it's mainly MIDI, and it's mainly sitting down and producing, whereas Marooned is all live creation. And they're two incredibly different sounds. One is obviously hardcore ambient, and the other one is
hardcore ambient. Straight edge hardcore ambient, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Bendu in the chat says the push works well without a screen. Yeah, definitely.
I really want to push. I would love to have a push.
If I had Ableton, I'd get a push.
You need Ableton.
No, I don't. I don't need Ableton. I'm moving away from screens.
Good point.
But I mean, that's partly what you can do. An MPC is another way of doing the same thing, right?
But the MPC still has that screen where it's almost a DAW in and of itself. I mean, even the SP has somewhat of a screen.
I was thinking APC, is it? The ones that are just and faders and knobs. And basically, like push, but a multi-door push.
Yeah. Sort of hybrid setups.
Things like that. It made a huge difference to me being able to ditch keyboard and mouse for most operations and just touch.
That tactile.
Push the buttons and twist the knobs. That's what it's all about. Isn't it?
The monkey brain, right, Curtis? The monkey brain or the chimp brain,
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'd love to have it myself. Like again, with everything, I can't sink $1,400 on a piece of gear. I just can't do it. And it's a barrier to entry. I would love it. Give it to me, please. It would be nice. Speaking of more gear, you also put the iPad app in the chat, Sunwarper.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Yeah. So speaking of screens, right? Just really quick though, in the chat, Hydro Fighter says I have the first generation push, so there aren't as many visual options. The LCDs are somewhat dim too, so definitely not relying on visuals. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's good.
I mean the push is a really cool piece of gear, and I was just curious. I've found I do really different sounds when I'm doing the sort of DAW-less away from the DAW, because I've been having to do both lately, and it's just way more freeing in my mind. But anyways, for the iPad app, we're going to a DAW. Can you pull that back up?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I know we had to run through the.
No, I wanted to give you the time to speak your truth, as what's the phrase a therapist would say.
Are you by chance able to get sound? It's not pivotal, but.
I am not. I'm afraid.
It's all cool.
I will destroy everything that I have.
We'd lose him if he tries to turn the sound
So
on.
basically, this is a fully functioning DAW on the iPad, and I've been wishing Apple would make Logic, make a full Logic, or at least rather than just a Logic remote, which is on the iPad, make some sort of Logic beyond GarageBand. But this it almost looks like a black and white Reason. There's a sequencer. There's sampling, there's a drum machine, you can use external plugins, like there's Moog synths on the iPad and things like that, and it's under $25. I think it's $23. It looks pretty awesome for just being a little thing on your iPad.
I mean, do you think, okay, so we've had a whole thing about you wanting to move to DAW-less, but I mean, is this something that you'd be interested in?
Well, I have made music on GarageBand on my iPad when, either I'm on vacation or if I am in the house and don't have access to my computer, and I'm like, I have this idea I need to write down, or a drum idea or something, or even when I have writer's block and just need to try something new, just working on an iPad or on my phone. So I just like having that option, and it seems like it's much more of a full suite compared to GarageBand. I know people make some really cool stuff with GarageBand. Personally, despite being a user of Logic, it just doesn't gel that well with me. I don't really like it. I don't know if I'd like
the audio files off as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd like this one, but it looks like it has kind of more of what I'd want, and the sequencer looks a lot more like Reason than the GarageBand one, and I think I'd enjoy that more. But yeah, so I just, and like Howard always says, it's nice to just have something portable, and rather than having to lug a bunch of hardware, I could just bring a small thin iPad with me in a backpack.
Yeah, you got to be able to just do some music anywhere, time.
Just let it happen
on a new track.
Yeah.
What about Basis? Have you tried that on the iPad? I have. I've not really been a huge fan of it, so I found it a little bit glitchy with Bluetooth audio and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I know people were talking about Core Gadget or something for a while.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I grabbed the free one. I think I didn't really like it.
Yeah, same,
I'm really picky with DAWs, especially when it's the small touchscreen one. That's one of my issues with GarageBand is the touch sensitivity and things like that are off, and then the little keyboards always bug me. I know you can make them bigger and stuff, but yeah. What about you, Curtis? Do you do any portable?
I use the Flip sampler from Andrew Huang quite a bit.
Right. Yeah.
That's good fun. It's limited in the sense that you've only got 8 channels, which I mean is a great limitation to have.
Yeah.
And it's all based on samples and that kind of thing, which, you know me, I'll run around recording weird stuff and manipulating it. I've tried FL, back when I was using FL, I was using FL Studio Mobile. That was glitchy as hell.
I didn't even know there was a mobile one.
Yeah, it's a counterpart. You can use it as a controller, like a MIDI controller for the desktop.
Yeah. Logic has a thing like that too, but not the independent use of it. Yeah.
And I mean, it works. This though, I would have if I had an iPad, I'd have a look at this.
Yeah, do you mind throwing the link in the chat, Curtis?
Yeah, that's a great shot. That is.
Does anybody use an iPad over in the chat and make or have tried or want to make music on it? Because this thing looks pretty cool. I might even get it. It looks pretty awesome. And then over in the chat, Shady Ridge says, I play guitar, so no visuals needed for me. Yeah, I get that, but I mean, I know you do some drums and things like that, so I'm just curious, have you ever tried doing any of that sort of stuff without, having the screen up or anything like that?
I do marvel at people who make stuff on iPad. Like Void Noir, he makes stuff on GarageBand.
That's crazy.
Purely on his iPad.
Yeah.
And I mean, the stuff he makes is sublime. And and
the sound design is really incredible too, which is crazy because man, when I try to do sound design on the on GarageBand, it's like Bit Crusher, reverb, and it still just sounds terrible.
Work for me. It's good for, again, apps are always good for tracking, and I can't make full of stuff, so I salute those who can.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
I've used sound sources from phone and iPad. Sometimes some synth parts that I've exported and dropped into Ableton and taken on from there.
See, that's good. So yeah, like a bridging system kind of thing.
Yeah. But for me, I mean, you need to be able to get audio out of these things easily.
Yeah.
And share it and get it onto something else. That's key for me.
I have just exported as basically like WAVs or something, or AIFFs from GarageBand and then put it in Logic. There's also supposed to be a way that you can incorporate, like you can take the file and open it in Logic, because they use the same plugins, like Alchemy Synth, which is awesome. That's an awesome synth. But I haven't really... I haven't really done it yet. Yeah, because I think Apple bought them, right? They were like, "Hey, this synth's great."
I had Alchemy, and they discontinued everything because they got bought by Apple.
Yeah, and now it's just part of Logic and GarageBand. I mean, it's pretty crazy in GarageBand, the synth sounds you can get on an iPad with it. Hydro Fighter says, "No iPad for me, sticking to my MacBook. I'm not convinced the CPU on an iPad can match." Yeah, I have a 2018 iPad Pro or something, and I mean, I can get a bunch of Alchemy on it, but when I start putting in like the Moog VSTs and things like that, it starts not working.
That makes sense.
But just as an idea capture, it's pretty cool.
It is cool. It is very much cool. Our final piece of news for the week is it's from ADSR. Hydro Fighter has just turned up in the lobby, and I'm gonna have to do the same thing that I did last week and deny him entry so I can use. I know. I thought I'm sorry.
Hammer.
I know. I just drunk with power. That's what it is.
He's gone mad.
I need to use the keys in order to share my screen. So Hydro Fighter, I'm going to deny you this time, but please come back in, and I will let you in when we get to the round.
Hydro Fighter, if I had the power, I'd let you in.
Yeah, I'd let you in now.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. Just go.
Talk to him about this, but he's just crazy.
I'm so sorry. I'm draconian.
He holds all the keys. He's got all the cards here. There's nothing I can do. I run the stream, but he's got the chat.
We are. So this is our last piece for the day. This is coming from ADSR Sounds, and the link that you give me is the sample pack, which is not what is written on the thing. But
that doesn't look like Boards of Canada to me. Synthwave bundle.
Well, this is it. So this is the Contact Synth, which is this is what has come up on the link, which is not quite what is here, I believe.
Hang on,
this is a sample pack, which is not what we need, but something about a new Contact Synth for Boards of Canada, Sunwarper. Is that correct?
I mean, I didn't actually look at it, but it says in the chat it's a Boards of Canada synth style sample pack, I guess for Contact.
Ah, right. Well, there you go. Which one of you guys
we'll
put this
have Eon Lake do. Yeah, it wasn't me. It was Eon Lake.
Yeah, it was me.
Tell us all about this one, Eon Lake.
Guilty. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say a lot about it. I mean, I thought, we should mention it because,
we all love boards. Well, the two of us love boards.
Don't we?
Curtis doesn't really listen to them.
And kind of influential. For me, I was looking at it thinking, that looks really fun. That it sounds pretty cool. I'm so not going to use that.
But you'll buy it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is why I was going to mention it, is because they're so influential, because they've spawned this whole sort of lo-fi thing and everything. That's why I'm not going to use it, really, is because I don't want to sound like everyone else, and everyone else who loves Boards of Canada, which is everyone else with any taste. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. But I really like the idea of it, but I wouldn't use it myself.
Well, maybe even you could do your own sound generation. You're competent enough that I think you can make a lot of similar sounds.
That's kind of what my mission is, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what we all started as. I want to make those sounds, and then you keep learning and sine waves and distortion, and you're getting there, and some LFO on the pitch. But maybe even just for idea generation. I mean, how much was it? Do you recall?
I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, if
I think
it's
it was expensive. It's one of those ones that's like, sub £100. I don't know. It's one of those ones that works on player as well. So you don't have to have full contact, because I don't have the full version.
I remember someone released like 3 Contact. I think they were Contact synth style. It was called like Box or something, like BOCS or something like that. And then Bendu says, "Is it called Tape Synth?" I saw that and felt exactly the same as Eon Lake. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if that's what it was, Eon Lake, but yeah, there was something. It's like BOCS, I think, or something like that. It was all these different sampled sounds and things that could make these Boards of Canada style synths, and they sounded really cool. But I always think it's like if you want to try to make those sounds, try to learn how to do it, because you'll learn so much about synthesis that you can then create your own types of sounds and things like that. I mean, yeah, if you just need a quick emulation, then those are awesome, and I'm not trashing, but
it's on offer. It's called Retcon by Loop Audio. $33.
Oh, okay.
$33.
It's got lots of hexagons on it, of course.
Yep. Is there like light leak and an analog filter on the photo?
Sure. But
or a face with no face?
It might be one of those things that, like, if you just need a sound that it is immediately sort of okay, so that you can sketch out ideas. Okay,
yeah,
but
that's
I don't
what I
know
was
how
saying.
much
Yeah.
joy you're going to have when it comes to replace the sound, and you've got to do your sound design. Then I don't know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to use something out of the box from this because,
I just think learn how to do it.
Probably doing that.
It'd be so much more worthwhile, and just in general, you'd have so much more flexibility if you could just learn how to make those sounds, But yeah, if you need a quick fix, or like I need that warped synth, like right now I've got a thing coming out tomorrow, then yeah, cool. But if you could learn how to make, put a couple sine waves or triangle waves, some LFO on the pitch, get some
That's it, man.
Get some saturation, saturation, maybe play with the filter, do a lot of human performance, maybe do some chorus, things like that. Like, you can get it right there. Wow and Flutter from a tape, or from, what was that? What's that one we used from Arturia? That,
hang on.
The tape. There was that dirty tape from Softtube, I think. That one works great, too. You can get a lot of Flutter from that.
Oh, Mellowfi.
Mellowfi. How could I forget? My greatest friend besides Supermassive,
is in my
man.
plugins list.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, you can. It's worth it to learn how to do those things, because then you can go beyond that and do things. It's just good to know synthesis, in my opinion. And so, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, Juno Chorus is also one that works nice too from Arturia. Yep. But no, I was talking about the Mellowfi, because it's got that tape saturation and the wow and Flutter.
Yeah. Really nice to see. I'm the same as you. Like the idea, do it yourself. But I mean,
yeah. Bendu says Mellowfi. Yeah, they're all on it. We've got latency between chat and video, but yeah, we appreciate everyone throwing it in, because I totally blanked on it, and that's my bad. I use that on like every single channel.
What's that thing?
What's that thing I use on everything? Yeah.
We are at 55 minutes past the hour. Should we let Hydra Fighter in this time?
I mean, if you're willing.
I'm ready.
You feeling giving?
I'm ready. So
let's let him in then.
Let him in. We'll move to round robin. Instantly, if you have any news from the week that you want or you think is interesting, you'd like us to talk about, just let us know. Send us a message on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah.
And we will.
Yeah, or if something pops up. And while Hydro Fighter comes in, Big Cloudy says, "Hi, I wouldn't use that pack, but I do use the Softtube Dirty Tape a fair bit." Yeah, that's an awesome. That's an awesome plugin. I got it for. I think it might still be free, but it was free for a while. It's really cool. And welcome, Big Cloudy. Always happy to have you. And then hello, Steve, Hydro Fighter. How are you?
Hi, guys. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I actually use a Max for Live plugin for tape saturation stuff.
What's it called?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Softtube. You just turn it up.
I think it's just called tape.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well,
there's also original. That Isotope Vinyl. That's a fun one.
Isotope Vinyl is very
nice
as well. That's the free. Yeah, Isotope Vinyl is free as well.
Yeah.
What does vinyl sound like with a vinyl plugin on it?
Sounds like
vinyl section.
That's like us throwing the Valhalla and the Valhalla, right?
You can never have enough supermassive instances, okay?
That's always fair. How you been doing, Hydro Fighter? What's new?
I'm good. It's been a couple of weeks, guys. I released my first single. It's only 22 minutes long.
There you go.
I'm expecting it to hit the Billboard Top 100 sometime never.
There you go. Yeah, mister, I don't like releasing often. Release 4 things in the span of like a day.
That's the way forward.
My bank manager wants a word with you.
I'd like a word with your bank manager. Outside of that, I've been kind of dabbling a little bit with some of the semi-modular synthesis as part of the Arturia pack. So playing a little bit with the ARP 2600.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is lush. That.
Yeah, those are sick.
Yeah, I
That
mean
is
it's
lush.
sick. I mean, I got my head wrapped around the default routing stuff, so I know where to go from here. But I need more knobs on my controllers.
We always say that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're waiting
you
for
bu-
that Behringer BCR 32 to come out.
Okay.
You guys seen that?
Oh.
I think I have. Yeah.
It's got a step sequence in it, but the thing I like about that controller is the dials all have LEDs
Ooh.
with them. So when you plug into your song in Ableton, it automatically defaults to the setting that you have there.
Very
That's
cool.
quite cool. That.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. I could do
You
with
should
fire.
get an ARP though.
What's that?
You should get an ARP though.
Didn't they reissue it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can buy them again.
Well, might as well. Might as well.
Sure, they're very reasonably priced.
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, the BCR is only going to be $150.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's not an ARP.
It's not up.
It's not an ARP.
It's not.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
it's not.
But
I
it's
should
not
get a lot of.
screeching things like this.
I should get a lot of things that you have in your itinerary back there, Ian. But
Yeah.
working on a
ARP's
budget.
on the
All you
list.
need is a whiteboard.
All you need is a whiteboard.
Yeah, and I need to talk to his banker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
you
we've
know,
got to figure it out.
That's one thing I wanted to mention. You know, there's a guy that I follow called Nectarios who does psytrance as martial arts, and he's a real mad modular guy. He shares a lot of knowledge on his videos, and at the bottom of each of them, he's always keen to say, "You can do this in any music software, if you know what the plugins are and everything. Hardware is not required. You don't need it. You can do all of this stuff in software." He keeps saying it, and I think it's worth remembering, especially
Yeah.
for people like me.
It goes
You know,
back to what you guys were talking about earlier. It's like, why buy something when you can recreate it yourself?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something, Eon. With modular, are you ever swapping cables out on the fly?
what
Or-
is it broken?
No, I mean like on a performance when you're recording something.
Not
You're
yet,
ever moving
no.
cables?
Not yet, no, because I'm more kind of. I haven't really integrated. I've got Sunwarper mod, which is like a sequencer, multi-track, has lots of, you can save songs and so on. You could probably do a whole set with that thing, but I just haven't really integrated it enough. I'm still doing little bits and bobs, and when I like something, sampling it, or recording it into Ableton, straight into Ableton, and using it there. And sometimes I'll record 7 minutes of it, and sometimes it will just be a quick little loop. So I'm still making little bits. I'm not sort of building up lots and lots of layers on it. But now I've got the mixer next to it, so there's a proper mixer for the modular that then feeds out into my main mixer to come into this. Then I can start running more things on top of each other in layers, and maybe then I'll get into that sort of stuff. But at the moment, pretty much only just a few things running side by side on top of each other. And
We'll
then
have to have a full detailed analysis of that, but we're running short on time, so let's switch over to the round robin. And really quick though, Bendu says I have used plug unplug as a technique during performance. Yeah, so there you go.
Well, incidentally, this round robin comes to us from our very own Hydrofighter. Hydrofighter hit me up in the week and was like, "Hey, do you want to talk about this?" So yeah, we're going to talk about this. I'll tell you what then. As this is Hydrofighter's, do you want to introduce it, Hydrofighter?
I certainly can try.
Yeah.
So it goes back to physical releases and digital releases, and what do you guys prefer, one over the other? I mean, what are we talking about? Tapes, vinyl, CDs, downloads. Do you have a listening preference? Does one overpower the other? What is the benefit of one over the other? And I basically, the reason I brought this up to Curtis is because I think I'm going to be moving into more of the physical listening. I've been more of a digital person because I listen a lot through my cans, but I'm starting to listen more through speakers. And one other comment I just want to say quick is I read an article a couple of months back about Robert Henke promoting CDs. Now, he's one of the co-founders of Ableton, but he was saying everybody's all hyped up about vinyl, but in reality, CD was the best physical format. It's the great size. You still get the physical artwork with it, and it has the best sound quality to it. So, Where do I want to start, Curtis? You want to? Why don't you start, Curtis? Since you never ever start.
I never start, no, because I always bring it to the table. So it's very gracious of you, sir, and I appreciate it, especially as I denied you entry at the beginning of the show. Yeah.
This is his retribution. He's putting you on the spot.
and the follow-up question is, from a label standpoint, what encourages you to push out physical releases then, and what format do you want to do with physical releases, right?
Well, it's a weird one because what I do, and then what we do for the label are two separate entities. I almost wholeheartedly stream through Spotify, which I know is the cardinal sin right there. There's a bit of YouTube, but I mainly use Spotify. I love Spotify. It really works for me.
I'm right there with you.
And it's the way that they're radio. I'm not so much on the playlisting now, but I use their radio. Like you hear an artist that you like. And
Shots fired.
Puts you through. Apart from our playlist.
There you go. Yeah. I was like, hey, I toil to make that playlist each week.
And you do a great job.
Week in and week out.
I do. I love it. But yeah, so I mainly listen through Spotify and then YouTube as well, for the stuff that's not on Spotify. I'm wholeheartedly digital because I only really listen to music when I'm walking places or on the tram or something like that. I very rarely listen to music here because if I'm in these, I'm listening to my music or I'm making music. I have toyed with vinyl, again, bit of a barrier to entry, and because I'm semi-nomadic, I don't really have stuff, so like I just kind of, to build up a CD collection or a vinyl collection, it doesn't work for me because here and now I'm in Prague. In a few years I'll be somewhere else, you know. Everything I have can be in a suitcase, and I kind of like it that way. So that's me, basically. For the label, we mainly do CDs, and we do vinyl as well. We push CDs mainly. That's just because that's kind of what we like to do. That's kind of within our boundary right now. Yeah. So yeah, that's on me. Yeah. What about you, Sunwarper?
Well, me personally, I'm a bit of a weird one. I've got I love the streaming aspect because I can discover new music constantly.
Dopamine.
Well, no, I like the whole playlist aspect because like when I walk, I like to have novelty. Like if I'm walking the dog, I want novelty. So I want to either try to find new music to listen to that I can just like see, oh, how are they doing this or that? Like always trying to learn something, right? From a like research and studying standpoint. And then when I drive, I love to bump music like that I really love, or that, you know, like I loop music like crazy in the car. And then when I'm working in here, if I'm doing like emails or something, I'll have like YouTube or Spotify on. And then I have a vinyl player, and I like to keep that as like this sort of special moment. Like very rarely I'm like, I just need to put a vinyl on, you know. And yes, CD is better quality, but I think there's something to be said about the whole art form, and not art form, but the whole like ritual almost aspect of getting this giant artwork, which looks much better than the tiny CD one, and then this huge vinyl, you know, 12-inch vinyl, and you put it in the thing and you get to play it, and there's a moment of putting it on and the little crackles and everything. I don't know, like I like that diminished sound quality, so to speak, and the warmer mids and the low end and the lower high end and stuff like that. So yeah, and then on a label front, we like to do CD because we can do that on demand one, the by demand. So rather than having us have 100 CDs in one of our closets or something and trying to deal with shipping, which just keeps getting more ridiculous, the distributor does it all. So it's really nice in that way. And then we're still offering some sort of physical and something special. But yeah.
It's the way to go.
That's me.
we have a record label with very small overheads essentially. So it's a good way of doing it.
Because it's more like a part of our network where we want to showcase music and things like that. So we have a lot of different avenues, and then we want to have a hub for Curtis and my music where everything's just conveniently located for anyone that wants to listen, and then if you want physical, we've got it. If you want the digital, we've got it. If you want streaming, we've got it. It's all there.
It's basically the biggest collab.
Yeah. Now Eon's going to shake it all up.
He is. He's just ready to go.
Really quick, let's hear from the chat. Big Cloudy says, for my own releases with my band and my own stuff, I'm wrestling with how to do it. My bandmate might do vinyl for a new album, but it's going to delay it by a few months. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking earlier, Big Cloudy. I don't know if you were in there yet, but like Bendu's vinyl got delayed. There's Lathe vinyl, which usually doesn't get delayed, and it's slightly more expensive, but you can per vinyl, but you can do it in much smaller orders. And there's even like Hunaki does it on demand, where you don't have to pay for any of it. So that's always something you can consider, and I think usually they're made pretty quickly, the lathe vinyls. But yeah, anybody else in the chat, what do you guys think about this? We'd love to hear your take on it. But Eon Lake, what's your thought?
I'm in the middle, really.
So,
you know, the surprising thing about me is I'm not as young as I look. I know you're going to be shocked, but I've lived long enough to have a lot of CDs already.
I thought you were like 1,000 years old or something, like an elf or Gandalf. You're such a wise wizard type figure, you know?
It was me. Then there was the.
You made the Earth. You are God. That's how it works.
No, I've got a ton of CDs already. I like physical media. I went full on Curtis for many years, thinking like, oh great, now I don't have to have stacks of CDs and CD storage and a bigger house every few years to put it all in.
I'm sure your wife appreciates that.
yeah, I did it all for her. Yeah, and now. There are things that I would like to have on physical media because I do like the artwork, you know. I like the convenience of a digital file. I think Bandcamp really has it nailed in a couple of ways there because you can have your physical media and you can have the app. I listen to the Bandcamp app a lot because everything that I've bought on there or is part of a subscription library, I have access to on the app and I can just stream. So, you know, it's kind of like Spotify, but better in a way because it's all the stuff I've bought. I use Apple Music as well for discovery.
Traitor, there it is. Now the truth comes out. He does stream.
And something, you know, just as an aside, they've got something like a 30-40% market share in the US. It's millions
Apple?
of people. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think because a lot of people converted from iTunes.
Just sending Spotify links out all the time. You're ignoring.
That's why you do FanLink or Linktree, as we've talked about before.
I don't know how many times we have to say this, but
I mean, there's dozens of people on Amazon Music. You don't want to leave them out in the dust too.
Yeah, but I like vinyl for the special stuff. There's some stuff that I want to really hang on to. I do like vinyl, and I have got a couple of vinyl subscriptions, so I get stuff regularly sent. I do like the fact that you can have a beautiful piece of music. Some really nice artwork, maybe even a gatefold sleeve, like some of the ones I've got. Coloured vinyl as well that matches all the artwork. It's how is that not lovely, you know? Yeah. But I don't want to amass a huge amount of it at the same time. I'm Twitter friends with people like the vinyl constituency. When you see pictures of their house, it scares the hell out of me. It's like just like every wall is just solid records. Yeah. That gives me the galloping fear. That's not for me. It's only certain things that I want like that. Most of it's going to be digital. I do like a few CDs. I do like some vinyl, but I don't want to go crazy with it because it is expensive and takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
So kind of horses for courses, really, and it's all about, you know, how big your house is, how big your garage is,
and how much you want to be taken up by vinyl and physical media in general. Over in the chat, Big Cloudy also said, I contacted a few tape labels for a current album, and 3 of them said they wanted to put it out, but it wouldn't be till spring 2024. Yeah, it seems like a lot of labels like to have been of late booking or scheduling releases for like the next couple years, which is pretty crazy. And it doesn't seem like it leaves much room for flexibility, like in that instance. And then Bendu says, I love vinyl as a fan. I come from when you'd borrow and loan vinyl and make tapes. Vinyl was a special occasion. Sorry, the chat keeps moving. So vinyl was a special occasion and largely still is for me. I stream with Bandcamp and Mixcloud all the time. Yeah, and Mixcloud is really cool too. With those mixes, I mean, hence the name. Yep. Big Cloudy also says, I've only ever owned about 10 CDs. I jumped straight from vinyl and taped vinyl to digital, even though I'm of the CD age. Yeah, I had some CDs when I was a kid, and then I've just been digital, like iTunes, and then I love like Bandcamp, but streaming just helps me find new music, which is what I like with playlists and things like that. And then Shady Ridge says, I like the physical aspect of what Sunwarper says. Having the artwork in hand, when I listen to anything physical, mostly vinyl, I have to be in a relaxed mood and stationary in my comfy studio chair. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying with physical, especially with like vinyl. It's just a special tradition, like a moment. You know, you get to sit there. I put the phone away. I put everything away. It's just like you're there with that vinyl, and it's just you're connected with it. And I always listen to the full thing. Like if I'm listening to a vinyl, I listen the whole way through. If it's like a Boards album that's 2 or 3 vinyls, I'm going all the way through. Like I'm invested. You know.
I have a record player, but it's not at home. I bought it close to my parents' cabin, and I wanted to set it up right away and listen to it. So it still lives at my parents' cabin because my brother and his family started listening to it and listening to full albums instead of DJing on his phone and switching songs halfway through or halfway through the song. Yeah. So it serves the purpose there. I need to get another one so I can. They don't like listening to the weird music that we make and we listen to so much. So it's a lot of the classic rock stuff there. But I want to listen to a lot of what people are releasing on vinyl and CDs, and that's why I'm going to move to that direction. But I'm going to take Eon's advice and say I'm not going to stack my house full of physicals.
That's interesting. I mean, it's all about balance at the end of the day. I mean, you got to have a little bit of indulgence. I don't think my ADHD brain would allow me to sit down and just listen to an album all the way through.
You'd be surprised, man.
Wow.
You'd be surprised when you're there, and you have to flip it, so it breaks the cycle because you have to get up, flip it, put it back, put the needle back. I mean, there's moments, you know.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to see. It's nice to see the chat so lively during this discussion.
And thank you to everyone in the chat for reminding me of all the things that I forgot to say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the show is basically yours at this point, isn't it? That's what I need. That's what I like. Yeah. We are 13 minutes past the hour. This round robin came from our very own Hydra Fighter. If you either watching live or on the playback, if you've got something you'd like to discuss or think that we should discuss on air, hit us up, let us know. We're always keen. We rack our ideas every week, but we always want to talk about something that you guys are talking about. So
and patrons like our dear Hydro Fighter get to come on the show at about the halfway point, or whenever Curtis feels it's prudent, as he has
finished power tripping.
I get it, Curtis. You don't want to lose all the stuff you have set up.
If I get rejected twice coming into there, then we have problems.
We're just joking with you, Curtis. But
I will say it. Yeah,
but patrons get to come
again.
Patrons get to come on the show, and like Hydro Fighter, they get to bring topics that they want covered or anything like that, and we do our best to discuss it and talk about it. And while we're talking about streaming, I should also say that our podcast is on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and it would mean a lot to us if you would give it a rating and follow it over there, because it helps with the algorithms that we are trying to deal with and best.
The podcast.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good fun.
I know you love segues, so I thought I'd throw that in there.
That was a hell of a segue. And as you had a hell of a segue, you might as well pick up on your final piece for this.
So I didn't see a ton this week in terms of the marketing. I've also been really busy, but I saw this interesting article on I think it's called Creators Blog on Instagram. Yeah. And Curtis, if you want to pull it up real quick, I think I put the link in the drive.
Yep, okay.
Yeah. Let me just move the screen for a second. So they have what they call like a trending report or trends report. And if you scroll down, Curtis, you'll see, I'm not one for chasing trends. I don't even really care about this kind of stuff, but it's just interesting to see what is really being viewed and listened to on Instagram, just, out of curiosity, or if you do want to see, or maybe something related to our genre or music or likes or something is trending and it would work. But they're saying like the audio right now that's trending is it's corn, but it's a song. And people for reels will make reels with that audio playing. And then they have like some pro tips and things. But even if you don't want to do this, it's just interesting to see the content that's just, if you need ideas for making videos or the style of video you want to make, or anything like that, they have some interesting pro tips that you can take and just use in your own concepts. So I just wanted to throw that up. I don't know how often they post this. I think this one was from like August 31st, which you would think, I mean, it's Instagram. Maybe they don't care because they're so big, but trends go very quickly. So you would think they'd have it weekly or something like that. But if August 31st, if that's right, then that's what, like 2 weeks ago already or something?
Sort of thing you'd expect to become so cumbersome that they just end up giving you a dashboard where you can look it up yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's quite true, and maybe that's why it's not that often. Maybe there's a spot I missed. I just thought it was interesting. It was a slow marketing week in my opinion. So I just wanted to throw it up. I'm just curious to see what is popular on Instagram at the moment and things like that. And I think Instagram is still dealing with that, reverting back from all those changes they were making. Because, I mean, I've posted something a couple days ago that it got no views, like literally no views for 6 hours, and then it got 4,200 something likes in like an hour. So I was like, what the hell? And then I posted again yesterday, and it did like 200 views. So I don't know what's going on there with Instagram, but I'd just be curious if anyone who's using Instagram in the chat, or later when you're listening, if you've noticed any weird algorithmic shifts or things like that. It's bizarre.
Life's bizarre, isn't it, really, if you think about it? And so this is just a microcosm of it. I start beating my head against the wall trying to figure out what's going on.
It's also good to remember Instagram is not a representation of life. So yeah.
That's fair.
Real people.
Exactly. We'll have a look. So with that brings us nicely towards the end of this week's show. We are 18 minutes past the second hour now. Jam-packed show this one, hey James?
Yeah.
Very much so. Thank you very much for joining us. Has anyone got any final words?
Yeah, I tried to do that chat box that I talked about last week to have the chat in the thing, and I couldn't get the source to connect, so I'm gonna try that again earlier than 5 minutes before we go live, as I did today. So
many things I didn't get working while you were away as well.
But I do want to get the chat up, because I noticed like when it plays on Spotify or Apple or something, you can't see the chat. So I want to get that up. And then, of course, if there's anything marketing-wise you guys ever want me to cover, patrons let me know in the patron chat. And if you're just listening and are on YouTube or something, drop it in the comments or DM either Audionautic or myself, and I'll look into it. And that's all I've got. Anybody else have any last words?
Eon? All I'm going to say is, we have some trends on this show. I mean, there's headphones are trends, green shirts are trends. So
yeah, I thought you'd change your shirt to
trends.
Green, Hydro Fighter.
Beards, I was thinking about it when you mentioned that earlier. Like, oh man, now I gotta change my shirt. But
well, we're waiting for the day when the stars align and we all just show up and we've all got the same color.
This is a patron plug. I mean, if you want to be part of creating the trend, become a patron.
I was gonna say, Hydro Fighter, I wonder if you were wearing a green shirt, and then when Curtis rejected you, you were like, well, screw this. And changed just out of anger or something. Like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Patrons get weekly shirt memos. Shirt color.
Yeah, but if you want to be a part of what shirt color to wear, join the patron.
Yeah, that's great right there. Eon Lake, final words, man.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's always good to have you, buddy.
Good to have you back, man. It's nice. It's all very good. We will be back next week. This replay will go up, as Sunwarper said, on Friday.
Tomorrow, Thursday.
Which is, yes, for you. Yes. In America, Thursday. Friday. Yeah. So yeah.
There are other countries other than America that have our time zone. Just FYI, not the rest of us are in. What is it, GMT and GMT +1 or something. This is
fair. If you can't get enough of us and you want to see more of us in the meantime, there's a brand new Binary Stars up on there as well, which came out last week. More to come on that front. And so yeah.
Good music too.
Yes.
Yeah, always good music.
So yeah. Thank you very much. We shall see you next week for more shenanigans, as they say.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thanks everyone.
Ciao.